Hey, what's going on, good people? Today we're going to talk about the mental status exam. Hey, what's going on, good people? It's your boy James Harris, founder of a movement called Mental Heal, which focuses on men's overall wellness, our mental health, physical health, and of course our emotional health. And I'm also the author of a book called Man Just Express Yourself, which is an interactive planner guide for boys and men to better express themselves. I definitely appreciate everybody who went out and got this tool, who continues to support for our children, those parents who are out there buying the books, those partners who are buying the books for the men in our lives, and of course my fellow clinicians who are getting this as a tool to put in our lobbies or do different things, interventions within session. I definitely appreciate it. I don't take it for granted. And I'm also the founder of a board game called Cheesy Dates, which is a phenomenal board game to enhance communication, and of course increase that spontaneity for my fellows out there. So I definitely appreciate everybody who went out and got this board game. If you want the book, definitely go to Barnes& Noble's, Target, Amazon, Walmart, pretty much anywhere books are sold. And if you want the board game, just go to my website, and just scroll down and you'll definitely see that. Oh, and it's also on Etsy, so go to the Etsy shop, type in Mental Heal, of course that'll come up as well. Listen, if you're here new for the first time, make sure you like, share, subscribe. I definitely appreciate you for coming and checking out my content, checking out my channel. Hopefully you're learning something. And if you've been here for a while, I definitely appreciate you assisting me in getting monetized. Continue to like, share, subscribe. Put it in groups, send it to the men you know, send it to the women you know, send it to anybody that you feel can benefit from this information. All right, so today we're going to talk about the mental status exam, which is a phenomenal tool. But for those who don't know what a mental status exam is, I definitely break that down for you. The mental status exam is including general observation made during a clinical encounter, as well as different testing it can be used for, depending on the needs of the client and the clinician. Multiple cognitive functions can be tested. So within that cognitive function, you got the inclusion of attention, executive function, language, memory, orientation, thought content, thought processes, and so much more. The exam itself may be comprised of, a few brief organizations made during a general client encounter or throughout an evaluation by a clinician, depending on where you are. These can take place within the hospital. They can take place in a therapeutic office setting. Somebody came in for crisis, if you're doing a biopsychosocial, so culture with, culture, native language, level of education, literacy, social factors such as, hunger or being deprived from something, additional stressors, must be taken into account when interpreting the exam, because these factors can definitely impact the effect of what's taking place and their performance of this possible exam. The examination begins with a general assessment of the patient or client level of consciousness, of course, their appearance, their activity, their emotional state. So again, the components of a mental status exam is, of course, I like to say, you can use the acronym ASEPTIC. That can be used to remember the different aspects of it. So the A is, of course, for appearance and behavior. The S is for speech. The E is for emotional, which is the mood and the effect of the person. And the P is the perception, whether that's auditory or visual hallucinations. The T is thought content, so we're talking suicidal, homicidal ideations, and different processes within that. The I is insight and judgment. Of course, the C is cognition. So again, that is ASEPTIC. Feel free to use that if you're a clinician or a nurse or whomever who have access to doing mental status exams. It's something that I picked up over the years, and I definitely want to make sure that I'm passing that knowledge because it's definitely helpful and beneficial. So when we're talking about the A in that, we're talking about appearance and behavior. So the appearance, we're checking the gait, we're checking the posture, we're checking, their clothing, how they're groomed. We want to make notations of all that. The behavior, we're looking at the mannerisms, the gestures, their psychomotor activity, the expressions, the eye contact, the ability to follow commands and different requests that we're relaying to them. And then when it comes to attitude, you want to see if they're cooperative, if they're hostile, are they open, are they selective, are they invasive, are they suspicious, are they just on edge or nervous, are they apathetic, are they easily distracted, are they focused on what you're saying, and some people even become defensive depending on the type of questions that you're going to ask. So that's when you're talking about the attitude. When it comes to level of consciousness, you want to ensure, or you're monitoring if they're vigilant, they're alert, if they're drowsy, or if they're lethargic, if they're asleep doing it, do they look confused, or, just to monitor how they are within that. Are they conscious? Are they intoxicated? As far as orientation is concerned, what's this person's full name? What floor are we on in the setting? Where are you now? Depending on that, orientation is definitely important because you can gain so much insight. Which city and state are we in? What is the full date of today? What year is this? What week is this? When is your birthday? For the rapport, you definitely want to ensure that you continue building too. Rapport is built throughout the process. Even after the mental status exam, you want to ensure that rapport building is some constant. Quantity descriptors, you want to note that this person is talkative or spontaneous, expansive, or just different things to make sure that they're going. And as far as rate, you want to indicate whether that rate is at a fast pace or slow pace or just a normal pace, or do you think they feel pressure? That's important too. And then you also can note the value, based on that tone. Are they loud? Are they soft spoken, or is it monotone? Are they weak? Are they strong? Depending on where they are. And the rhythm of that voice, or the fluency of that voice, you also want to make note as well, because if that speech is slurred, is that from an injury or is that from a substance use? You want to ensure that you're doing that as well. You want to ensure that it's clear, concise, appropriate place. Are they hesitant? Are they good at articulating? Do they have difficulty pronouncing certain words? And is it from just them talking this way, or again, is it from a medication or a substance use? All of this is being notated. And you also want to notate the response time. When we talk about the emotions of it, we get back to, again, the mood. How is this person feeling? How they overall feeling based on their well-being. And so we got the mood. So then we talk about the affect of this person. This is what you observing. Is it appropriate, to the situation, continuously? Are that mood and thoughts congruent? Is it a liable expression, or is it, even, or is it expansion? What's the range? Is it broad, or they have restrictive thoughts? Are they blunt? Are they flat? Is it normal? So you want to ensure that you're indicating whether they're hyper energized or, potentially manic, depending on where you are. And when it comes to quality, you want to view if it's sadness or anger or hostile. Are they detached? Are they euphoric? Are they anxious? Are they irritable? You want to notate all those things. Congruency, or if they're not congruent based on the mood and the time. If somebody is smiling and excited and they just got in a car accident, you want to indicate that. Normally when people get in a car accident, they may be shaken up or fear or scared or nervous. So, again, those things can be annotated so you can come back later and try to put two and two together or piece this information together. And when, again, we move on to the perception piece, again, auditory hallucinations, visual hallucinations, and of course everything within those spectrums. So the thought content is probably the more intense section, because you're going to ask those personal questions that they might have reservations about answering. So you're going to talk about suicidal ideations, you're going to talk about homicide ideations, and they may tell you, I thought about harming myself, or I thought about harming others, and you are within that moment, so you still have to make sure that you hold your bearing intact and make sure that you are, doing what you have to do to get this exam complete, because you don't know how long they're going to be engaged, or you don't know at what point they may shut down because the question might be too sensitive. So thought content is very important. And then, of course, you want to talk about the delusions, if they have any, whether that's grandiose, jealous, persecutory or somatic, or, those erotic ones. So delusions are definitely, can be fixed or false beliefs. So definitely pay attention to those things. If they don't have any delusions, then it could be just evaluated, or just certain ideas that they may possess at that specific time. Or those delusions can be happening because they are intoxicated over a substance or alcohol. So you definitely want to notate that as well. And it happens. I've had so many different type of mental status exams that differ from the other, so go in it with an open mind, because you don't know what this client is going to relay to you at those specific times. What is actually being said, does this content contain a delusion, or is it just something that they actually believe? And this is important too if it's a different culture, because different cultures believe different things. Western society, we may interpret it or put emphasis on something that might not even be conducive to this person from a more African setting or an Asian culture setting, so you definitely have to make sure that you are doing your due diligence within that. So those things are definitely important. Thought process and forming thoughts, what is logic? What is relevant? The organization, the flow of that coherence, that thoughts in response to general questions during this interview. Is it linear goals? Are they goal directed? Is it circumstantial? Is it tangible? Do they have loose association? Are they incoherent? Are they invading or being invasive? Do they have racing thoughts or blocking thoughts? Those things are definitely important when you're talking about the thought process within this person that you're doing this mental status exam from. And when it comes to cognitions, of course, you can do cognitive tests. The DSM-4 has the cross-cutting measures. Those are the free ones that are available. Ask about their education level. You're asking about just different things to, short-term memory, long-term memory. And then, of course, you're moving on to the insight. The insight is also a big deal, because it's what the client or this person's understanding of the world that's around them, and what they have going on. So how much insight do they have on why they're here? Are they able to do reality testing? Are they able to see situations as it is to reality? Are they seeking help? Are they rejecting the help? Are they here because mom brought them, or the husband, is encouraging them to get help? So those things are definitely important for you to understand within the insight. And then once you move forward to the personal judgment, what have this client done as far as actions? Have they done anything to put themselves or other people in harm? That's important for understanding their judgment. Are they having, in a way that they motivate by the perception or disturbances or different paranoia actions? Are they, looking over their shoulder? Are they just, trimming and stuff like that? So you definitely want to pay attention to the judgment within those situations. What is the confidence of this person making decisions? So those things are definitely important. That was a quick breakdown of the mental status exam. And of course, you probably ought to have your own mental status exam within your biopsychosocial or within your intake paperwork. It's definitely important that you continue to do these things. Get familiar with the different sections, because they can be benefiting for you to just flow with the information, because again, you don't know when this person will decide, if they decide to not even answer any more of your questions. So, it's a vital piece of information that can assist in navigating treatment and coming up with a treatment plan, because you can refer back to that and see where they are now, or see if it's something that you need to keep. So, again, hit me up. You got any questions? I'll definitely be sure to guide you and pass you this information. I definitely appreciate you. Catch you on the next one.